This is not about fried chicken. It is about whether low-margin businesses can still survive in California. Because if KFC can't make it work here, who can? KFC is not a tech startup. It is not a hedge fund. It is not chasing trends. It is one of the oldest, most recognizable restaurant brands in America. So when KFC begins quietly pulling back from California, it is not a cultural statement. It is a financial one. And when a brand built to survive recessions, inflation, and decades of competition starts shrinking its footprint in the nation's largest state, something deeper is happening beneath the surface. KFC operates under Yum Brands, one of the most powerful restaurant conglomerates in the world. Alongside Taco Bell and Pizza Hut, it represents a business model refined over generations, standardized menus, franchised operations, and tight cost controls. This model is designed to work almost anywhere, which makes California different. KFC's struggles in the state are not about brand relevance or demand. Fried chicken still sells. Fast food still thrives. The issue is whether the economics of operating in California still work for low-margin, labor-intensive businesses. KFC's pullback did not arrive with a press release announcing a mass exit. Instead, it unfolded quietly. Individual franchise operators closed underperforming locations. Others declined to renew leases. New store openings slowed to a crawl. Over time, the pattern became clear. California was no longer a priority market for expansion, and in some regions, not even sustainable for retention. This was not panic. It was triage. Most KFC locations are not operated by Yum Brands directly. They are run by franchisees who bear the day-to-day financial risk. Those franchisees face a simple equation: labor costs, rent, utilities, food inputs, regulatory compliance. In California, every one of those inputs is among the highest in the country. Margins that might be thin elsewhere become nearly non-existent. When that happens, closures follow not because customers disappear, but because profit does. California's fast food wage increases fundamentally altered operating economics. A $20 per hour minimum wage for fast food workers raised payroll expenses overnight. For chains with high staffing needs and extended operating hours, labor is the largest cost line. KFC did not oppose higher wages publicly, but franchisees did the math. Many locations simply could not absorb the increase without raising prices beyond what customers would tolerate. In lower-cost states, the same stores remain profitable. Yum Brands is not abandoning California entirely. Taco Bell continues to expand selectively. Pizza Hut maintains distribution operations. Corporate offices remain. But KFC occupies a different niche. Its stores are often older, larger, and less flexible than newer fast casual concepts. Retrofitting them to meet California's regulatory, energy, and labor requirements requires capital many franchisees cannot justify. Yum Brands is reallocating resources to markets where returns are clearer. That is not ideological. It is fiduciary. California still has one of the largest fast food customer bases in the world. The problem is not demand. The problem is cost compression. When wages rise, rent rises, utilities rise, and compliance costs rise simultaneously, even massive brands feel pressure. KFC is simply one of the first legacy chains to admit it through action rather than rhetoric. As KFC contracts in California, it expands elsewhere. Texas, Florida, Tennessee, and Georgia offer lower labor costs, lower commercial rents, predictable regulatory environments, faster permitting, lower energy costs. For franchisees, the difference can mean survival versus closure. For Yum Brands, capital flows where franchisees succeed. When a KFC closes, it is easy to dismiss it as just another restaurant. But for many neighborhoods, fast food locations are employment anchors. They provide entry-level jobs, flexible schedules, and consistent foot traffic. Closures remove jobs, reduce local tax revenue, and weaken commercial corridors. They also reduce food access in lower-income areas, where quick-service restaurants fill gaps left by disappearing grocery stores. KFC's pullback fits a broader pattern. Other national chains have slowed expansion, closed stores, or exited specific California markets altogether. The common denominator is not politics or branding. It is operating cost. Businesses that rely on scale and consistency are finding California increasingly difficult to justify. Fast food is often overlooked in economic discussions, but it is one of the largest private employers in the state. When chains shrink, the impact ripples outward. Fewer jobs, less sales tax, less commercial occupancy, less economic resilience in working-class communities. KFC's decisions are a signal, not an anomaly. California can afford to lose a few restaurants. What it cannot afford is to lose entire categories of employers. If labor-intensive businesses cannot operate profitably, the burden shifts to fewer employers, to higher prices, to reduced job availability. That is how economic diversity erodes. KFC is not fleeing California in dramatic fashion. It is doing something more telling. It is stepping back quietly, store by store, franchise by franchise, letting the numbers speak for themselves. That should concern policymakers more than any press conference ever could. Because when a brand built to survive anywhere decides it cannot thrive here, the problem is no longer the brand. It is the environment. And KFC may not be the last to reach that conclusion.